You may have seen a clip online that goes something like this. This is Nyan Neko Sugargirls, or more specifically, an excerpt from its 4th episode. There are 10 others like it, uploaded to the YouTube channel Soap Opera 46 from 2010 to 2012, in addition to various bits of side content. It never gets much better than this. The show is clearly attempting to mimic the style, tropes, and even language
Arigato gozaimasu, YouTube. I'm very arigato-ful
of anime. But it's, not one. On the surface, this may just look like a crappy YouTube series made by a 12-year-old. But if you dig deeper, you'll find an online rabbit hole like few others. Nekogirls is absurdly popular. Its first episode alone has over 2 million views on YouTube, and a fan compilation of all 10 episodes has almost 3 million. It's been reacted to by PewDiePie. Soap Opera 46 has enough subs for a silver play button. There's even a good chance you've seen it. Nekogirls is a phenomenon over a decade running, because it's just that hilariously terrible. What separates a Neko newbie from a Neko nobleman is whether you deride the series for being garbage or say, "Nya, watashi daisuki's Nyan Neko Sugargirls, raku watashi no waifu desu, nya." Despite being an internet fossil, Nekogirls maintains a small but dedicated fan base, which is active to this day, creating fan art, fan games, fan sequels, fan prequels, reanimations, the list goes on. Though some fans may seem sarcastic at first, their passion for Nekogirls is true. Fans of Nekogirls legitimately believe it to be a phenomenal series worth your time, myself included, because if you watch enough Nekogirls, there's one question that inevitably enters your mind. Is it mayhaps possible that the person who wrote Kawaii Underwear-Chan Store wasn't being entirely serious? You've been trolled, To this day, the debate of whether or not Nekogirls was intended to be a parody rages on. Some people think it started off as a serious project but ended up as a joke. Other people think the creator took it seriously, but the voice actors didn't. Other people still think that it's 100% serious on all fronts. These debates are inevitable when its creator remains shrouded in mystery. Soap Opera 46, more commonly referred to by fans as Yoli, is an enigma. She's insisted repeatedly that Nekogirls is a 100% sincere project, and yet these messages are not taken seriously by most people. Yoli is not only an unreliable narrator, but an information black hole. To attempt to pry into her character is to navigate an endless labyrinth of question marks with few revelations in sight. As time marches onward, and the culture that Nekogirls was uploaded in drifts further and further away from the modern generation, the true genius of this series becomes harder and harder to understand with each passing year. So too does much else. This all begs many questions. Is Nekogirls parody or sincerity? Who voiced the characters? Why do people like such an obviously, perhaps intentionally bad series? Who is Yoli? Is she secretly good at art? What did Yoli do before Nekogirls, and what is she doing now? With all these questions in mind, I decided to do a teensy bit of research. Watashi needs to get the video out, nya. Watashi needs to work on the Nyan Neko Sugargirls video, nya. Watashi needs to get to work, nya. Watashi needs to figure things out, nya. Watashi can't go outside, nya. Watashi can't go outside until video is done, nya. Watashi hasn't seen the sun in 3 weeks, nya. You wanna know when I started this video? Over 6 months ago! I could have been going on dates with women, but they don't want to talk about Nyan Neko Sugargirls now, do they? I'm going insane. I'm going insane! You all think this is funny, don't you? You think this is funny, don't you? You think this is funny! So, to guide my research on nekogirls, we should first ask the million-dollar question. Is nekogirls parody or sincerity? If you're familiar with the series, this question may seem like an easy one to answer, but considering how frequently it's debated to this very day, I think it's a good jumping-off point. And what better way to answer it than by actually, watching nekogirls. On April 9th, 2010, in correct standard time anyway, episode 1 of nekogirls was uploaded to YouTube. From there, 9 others were released, with the finale coming out on December 24th, 2012. So, what even is the plot of nekogirls? Well. If you thought peak fiction was good, just wait till you see ascended fiction. The story follows our protagonist Raku-chan as she's eating at Mochi Central with her best friend Koneko-chan. On their way back, they see a man named Hitoshi.
Working hard or hardly working?
I think I just got pregnant. He's got that Baltimore skibbity riz, so Raku finds herself immediately thrown into the throes of love. I don't quite know how I've managed this, but I don't find Raku's voice annoying. I am curious though, who voiced this abomination? Luckily, the ending credits have an answer. This is gonna be harder than I thought. Episodes 2 and 3 set up our antagonist, Bokutachi, unnamed at this point in the series. For a long time, I called him Mr. B Gay Do Crime, because his character traits are that he's gay and does crime. Sex crimes. Raku and Koneko save Hitoshi, but do not call the cops because wearing full black and having black shadow over his eyes is still not black enough for the police to arrest. From here on out, nekogirls enters its more tragic second half, as Squeakers the squirrel gives Raku rabies.
What seems to be the problem?
So, this is Vet-sama. Look, I'm not one of those degen weebs that sexualizes all the female characters in anime. I would never. But all I'm saying is that when I lay in bed contemplating the pointlessness of our meager, earthly existence, the voice I want whispering sweet somethings into my ear is... Koneko and Hitoshi try to savor what could very well be their last moments with Raku before she dies. Meanwhile, Hitoshi grows in Stockholm with his gay stereotype kidnapper. Raku turns into a Neko because of her rabies, before successfully fighting off the illness. But it's too late. Raku tells Hitoshi that she aishiteru's him, but by that point, Hitoshi has gotten together with the kidnapper.
Oh, his name is Bokutachi-san.
Oh, I thought his name was Jeff.
Did nekogirls predict the My Name Jeff meme? You heard me right, this isn't an outdated meme. It predates.
My name is Jeff.
Turns out, it was actually a running joke as the series was being released that the kidnapper's name was Jeff, since his real name, Bokutachi, hadn't been revealed yet. It originates from Comrade Iota's reaction series to nekogirls, which ran concurrently with the actual show.
Did you see that? It was the guy. It was the We gotta call him something since you can't call him gay. I'm gonna call him Jeff. But it's like the British spelling, so it's Geoff.
Pretty cool. Thus, the story ends in tragedy as Raku dies from a brokero kokoro. To reflect this tone, the ending theme is appropriately changed to a heart-rot rendition of Last Christmas by Wham! That's the plot of nekogirls. In case you couldn't tell, the series is hilarious, and that is its main appeal. But while a lot of the comedy comes from the general crustiness of the voice acting and animation, a lot of the jokes are clever. Clever in a way that a show attempting to take itself seriously wouldn't be. Take, for example, this bit from episode 10.
Sorry about your door.
Oh, don't worry about the door. I have door insurance.
This is hilarious. It was my Discord status for an entire month after I rewatched the series. For reference, here's what it is now. And there's plenty more where that came from, as well as moments like the squirrel bite scene I showed at the beginning of this video that are just too absurd to believe as being genuine. But what I find even more interesting are some of the gags that aren't just clever, but subtle. Something you may be curious about is the fact that the dialogue Google translates a bunch of random Japanese words into what the characters are saying. This is a parody of how some anime fans used to talk, and it's infested every nook and cranny of the series. Japanese honorifics are used consistently. Raku and Koneko constantly put nya at the end of their sentences, and in Hitoshi's case, it's a nya. Rawr. But what made me laugh the hardest when I noticed it is that all the meals the characters eat are exclusively the most common types of Japanese food that a Westerner would likely know about from watching anime. My favorite instance of this is in episode 2 when Hitoshi has Pocky and Ramune for breakfast. Pocky and Ramune! Or, I'm sorry,
Ramune.
And this is why there's such a debate over whether or not nekogirls is a parody. On the one hand, it presents itself as terrible and incompetent, while the creator not only hasn't explicitly indicated that it's a parody, but actively tells people it's a serious project. But on the other hand, a lot of the show's funniest moments are easier to explain as being, well, jokes. Sincere, deliberate jokes. Even subtler than that, while watching the show, there's just this sense hanging around in the background, this vibe, if you will, that the show has intentionality in what it's doing. This vibe is present in part because the show has legitimately pretty good use of Chekhov's gun. It isn't just a string of nonsense, but rather builds on itself to create a coherently incoherent storyline. Everything set up pays off, which wouldn't be the case if the show was as incompetent as it wants you to believe. It's like you can feel Yoli sitting there with you while you're watching, handing you the popcorn and laughing at everything you are. And if that isn't good enough to convince you, near the end of episode 10, Vetsama's VA, falls out of her chair or drops something, and they just leave it in the recording.
She died of a broken cocoa.
So, we can reserve total judgment for the end of the video, but for now, we can say that nekogirls is most likely a sarcastic parody. This makes the show very interesting to consider from a meta perspective. The way I think about it, there are really two creators of the show. The true creator, Yoli, and a sort of canon creator, also Yoli. The true creator knows what she's making is goofy nonsense, but the canon creator is incompetent and genuinely believes the show is a masterfully executed romantic drama, not realizing its comedic potential. Much of the show's humor hinges on the viewer buying into the kayfabe of the canon creator, even if not everyone buys into its reality. In essence, it's suspension of disbelief. Speaking of the show's creator, who even is Soap Opera 46?
In heartbroken Japanese, I wrote to you. Oh, I steady.
Soap Opera 46, or Nyan Desu, or Yolanda-chan, or Yoli-chan, is a real bona fide Japanese girl who lives in Tokyo. Her favorite genre of music is Japanese, which is also the language she is most fluent in. Her favorite art style is anime, which she draws with her taburatsu, and her personal quote is watashi no oppai itai, which is Russian for anime as a psyop. For legal reasons, it actually means my boobs hurt. In Danish, Yoli is interesting. All of these factoids have been taken from her DeviantArt page, which is the only known social media she has other than YouTube. If we assume that nekogirls is a parody, everything Yoli has ever said has been in character. Ever. Okay, fine. Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious, but most of this seems to be for the bit. Her deviations are of the same style as nekogirls. atrocious, with some exceptions. And she writes as if she's perpetually having an aneurysm. Nowadays, she uploads to DeviantArt once every couple of years, but back in the day, she frequently took on art trades with commenters on her profile. Sometimes her profile contains cosmic horrors beyond comprehension! Yoli is who Pro Shipper's DNI was designed to stop. But other times, it can be shockingly revealing towards our objective. With the knowledge that this anime is sarcastic, many have speculated that Yoli could ream the Mona Lisa if only we knew her ult. In the nekogirls opening song, there's a part where 3 legitimately decently drawn renditions of the protagonists are shown on screen along with their names. Could this be Yoli's true art style? We'll leave the question of whether she's secretly good at art open for now, but I can say with relative certainty that these good drawings in the OP are not done by Yoli, because on December 15th, 2012, Yoli uploaded this image to her DeviantArt. Watashi no Tomodachi make this many year ago when nnsg is not made yet. She was help for opening before. Demo she moved to USA in Watashi not make it not with her. Watashi want to make own in change design to. Same Tomodachi make face draws in openine with names. Hi, this is old. Ooh, very old years. Watashi still own old anime opening part Tomodachi make. Anata tell Raku-chan no opai not. Ooh. If you parse the tuberculosis, here's what we get. Hitoshi, Raku, and Koneko were designed by Yoli's friend. They were originally going to make some kind of project together, perhaps a more serious YouTube series. However, they only got as far as the OP before her friend moved to America, which seemingly rendered her unable to work on the project. However, Yoli still wanted to use the characters for something, so use them she did, with some alterations. But pause. Here's where things get interesting. Because as we've previously established, Yoli is playing a character. Her bio is filled with presumed lies about living in Japan. She's an unreliable narrator. So, how much of this story is even accurate? Is this friend even real, or is this Yoli's true art style? I believe this story, but the deeper you peer into Yoli, the more confusing things become. The possibility of parody means that anything she says can be interpreted as either truth or fiction, with nothing more than vibes to distinguish between the two. You know, nekogirls isn't the only thing Yoli's put on YouTube. As I said, she's still semi-active to this day, even commenting on YouTube videos about nekogirls, which means... Hi, she's released multiple fan dubs of anime songs. I practiced choir for 6 years and still can't sing this well. This is, presumably, Yoli's voice. If you haven't already picked up on it, it's the same voice as Raku, meaning that we now know who one of the voice actors probably is. Yippee! Bokutachi's VA even did a parody of Mask by Dream.
With a smile for hours on a time. Stare at his nutsack while I hold back my come to now.
Also, yeah, the voice actors for the characters still appear on Yoli's channel to this day. It's awesome. Aside from that, there's some meme videos like this Toho push-up vid. This, children, is what memes were like before Skibidi Toilet caused the downfall of civilization. There's a PSA about staying healthy during the pandemic that's surprisingly serious considering what usually comes out of this channel. Like, there is no joke here. Yoli is seriously urging the viewer to wear masks and practice good hygiene. I wouldn't say it's Yoli acting out of character per se, more so that it's not a parody. Nyan Nekosugargirls Kurisumasu Supeshiru is effectively an OVA for Nekogirls. It's a brief, non-canon episode released between 7 and 8. The reason why I place special emphasis on this one is because 2 of the background characters present at the Christmas party in this episode are actually fan Nekogirls OCs created by the clockwork Creo. In fact, you can still find the original drawings on DeviantArt to this very day. That's pretty cool. The day after the episode was released, the Clockwork Creo made a DeviantArt post celebrating that his characters were featured. In the replies, user Heart4Element claims that their OC was also featured, the squirrel boy standing next to Squeakers rocking the Miku fit. Unfortunately, Heart4Element has disabled their account, so their original drawing is no longer online. This means that the other characters here are probably also fan OCs, but I haven't been able to find their origins yet. But now we're at perhaps the most important video of the bunch, Nyan Nekosugargirls, episode 1.5. This one's a doozy.
So, how'd you become a Neko girl?
I was born that way. You know, I never gained them. I just came with them.
Was your mom a cat and your dad was a person?
No, actually, my dad was the cat.
Released on July 19th, 2015, it's a collection of clips compiled from an old episode of Nekogirls that was taken down. You heard me right. This episode was originally uploaded to YouTube in 2010. It features our lovable 4 main characters, Raku, Koneko, Hitoshi, and Dulce. You remember Dulce, right? You know, the dog girl who's Koneko's sister. I forgot to mention this, but in episode 5, she actually tries to date Bokutachi by joining his side in an attempt at kidnapping Hitoshi again. She's also even more sexualized than Raku by far. I genuinely have to censor some of these images to not get age restricted. However, there's actually a 5th character featured in this episode that was cut from the final show. Graggle Simpson. Okay, Dulce is a character unique to this episode who was cut out of the final version of the show. The description of this video illuminates why. Koneko-chan has a sister BTW named Dulce-chan. This ep used to be on the YouTube in 2010, but feud with voice actor leads into takedown in Lost on Old Comprador. Due to this feud, in the re-uploaded clip compilation, Dulce's dialogue has been edited out. However, at around the 40-second mark, if you listen carefully in the background, you can still hear just a bit of what Dulce's voice sounded like.
Okay, Dulce-chan, let's go outside, okay?
Yoli must have either missed this or found it negligible enough to keep in. To this day, the original episode 1 of Nekogirls is considered lost media. It probably got very few views while it was online. If it was online. We actually don't know if it was. Finding this episode would certainly be the holy grail of Nekogirls lore, and if by some miracle someone has it archived somewhere, their name would forever be etched into not just Nekogirls history, but internet history as a whole. But in all likelihood, this episode no longer exists anywhere except Yoli's computer, and even that's questionable at this point considering how long it's been. So, that's all the videos Yoli has released in the Nekogirls universe. But what about these videos? Before Nekogirls, there were 4 other videos on Yoli's channel. 3 of them contain a character named Sauken, which means Yoli was trolling even before Nekogirls? Fan animation! Yeah, right. Let's watch it and see what kind of troll Yoli used to be. That's it? Hold on. What about this one? Sauken Caramel Dancin'. It's just this looping animation for the entire video. Oh wait, there's also credits on this one. Knowing nekogirls, I'm sure it's going to completely fall apart here. And by that, I mean they're completely normal. Okay, what about Sauken's biggest fan? Surely this is where she goes mask off. This just got a whole lot more interesting. There's nothing sarcastic in these videos. Gone is the biting satire of nekogirls, or the subtle feeling that Yoli's laughing right there with you. These appear to be sincere. Now, sure, the animation is still pretty bad, but so were a lot of old YouTube animations. This era is largely bygone, but I'm just old enough to remember searching up Pokemon animations on YouTube as a kid. And yeah, they weren't technically competent. Also, these Sauken videos don't have comically bad animation in the same way that nekogirls does. Nekogirls regularly goes wildly off-model, distorting biology in unbelievable and hilarious ways. However rough and blobby these Sauken videos are, they didn't make me laugh because of how bad they were. But what really sells this as serious to me is Yoli's Sona. Yoli was a big enough fan of whoever this Sauken guy was to make her own, seemingly sincere wolf Sona in the same style. Which means... Yoli's a furry! Knowing this information somehow makes nekogirls even funnier to me. These videos also suggest that Yoli isn't actually a brilliant artist behind the scenes. A consequence of this that I noticed throughout my obsessive research for this video is that Yoli probably didn't make the Nyan Neko Sugargirls logo. I mean, look at it. It isn't completely incompetent, so there's no way Yoli made it. So, okay, we need to figure out who Sauken is. But how would we go about accomplishing that? I'm already out of ideas, so let's just watch Ed on crack. The protagonist of this Shakespearean epic is Ed. He kills a dog in Halo 3 because he thinks it's an alien, and gets a game over. He then takes a pill, which is presumably filled with crack. The description says, "Please read. My bro made this vid and I don't know wow to get it of. He says he's gonna beat me if I does. Done get mad at me, cause I didn't made this. He did. KK. Well, this further complicates things. So, first of all, lore drop, Yoli has a brother, occasionally speculated to voice Bokutachi. We also know that this was originally his YouTube account, and this is actually corroborated by her bio. BTW, I'm 21 now. My bro made the account and he put the B-Day as his, but the your diff. So yeah, In case you're unaware, YouTube used to display your age on your account. This was back when NeoCities wasn't necessary to have fun online. Yoli's birthday on her DeviantArt account is August 18th, 1989. This means that, assuming this age is accurate, she most likely wrote this YouTube bio between August 18th, 2010 and 2011, which does track with when she was releasing nekogirls. However, I don't actually know how old her brother is, and I haven't seen any screenshots of her YouTube account back then that would reveal this information. Not even on the Internet Archive. Unfortunately, her original channel URL only goes back to 2019, and her current one to 2022. Oh, you are not going to correct my misinformation! Thing? The hell is that? Look, I'm doing a thing, we're covering it later in the video. But let's get complicated for a sec. Soap Opera 46 was created on February 21st, 2008. Ed on Crack was released on July 21st, 2008. Just 2 days later, the first Sauken video was released, the latter two coming in rapid succession. So, based on this timeline, here's my theory as to what went down. Originally, the channel was co-owned by both Yoli and her brother. They both began releasing videos in the animation genre on YouTube, but they both fell out of it for a bit under 2 years. Then, Yoli and her friend who she was making the original nekogirls with planned to release the series on the Soap Opera 46 channel. Around this time, Yoli, who at this point was the only one using the channel, tried to delete Ed on Crack, but she couldn't figure out how, so she asked her brother, who said he'd beat her if she did. So she updated the description. Does this all make sense? I think it does, unless you take it as a joke. In the wake of Yoli's rampant sarcasm, this description can easily be read as a joke, especially considering the bit about her brother beating her and the incessant typos. Except, I disagree. I'm actually tempted to believe this description is 100% serious. Like, okay, her brother was probably joking when he said he'd beat her, but I'm willing to bet he said it, okay? First of all, as previously established, these sauken videos don't feel like jokes, so it makes more sense to believe that the sarcasm began when Yoli was left to her own devices with nekogirls. And two, Yoli just writes like this. She's allergic to good grammar because people just do that online, especially back in the day. That's my current theory at least, and there's nothing that could possibly complicate things that will arrive later in this video. This video has made me mentally unstable, so that covers every video on Yoli's channel, plus every image she's uploaded to DeviantArt. If I didn't mention something, it was too boring to include, trust me. But we're still missing some context. It was around this point in my research that, after having scoured everything Yoli has released on her accounts, I began to fall into another rabbit hole. I must admit, I'm fairly young. I just hit the big ol' 2-0 actually. So this was all a generation before my time. Nonetheless, even for those who aren't aware of what it is, its title alone tells you all you need to know. Ever heard of fanime? This may shock you, but it has something to do with fan-made anime. Oh, no, this is bad. This can't be happening to me. It's more over than previously thought possible. I'm trapped in Tokyo Crystal Mew. Okay, some cruel thing has trapped me here, but I think I know how to get out. If I can finish explaining fanime and we move on to the next part of the video, this visual style will no longer be relevant, and I can escape my MS Paint shackles and return to my pristine Jozu-drawn quality. The term is typically used to describe anime-inspired amateur YouTube series from the early to mid-2000s, though it's worth noting that the community still exists today, however niche. The genre nowadays lies largely forgotten. Many original uploads of fanime no longer exist for various reasons, often permeating through re-uploads and the Internet Archive. As you've probably guessed, nekogirls is a part of this genre. In fact, it's debatably the most famous fanime ever made. Most fanime is rough, to put it delicately. In fact, it's often not even made in proper animation software. The art is and when it does look good, it's probably traced from Sailor Moon. The writing rarely fares much better.
Come to think of it, where has my smile gone from here? Why can't I bring a smile to my face as easily as I used to?
You know, I recently watched Neon Genesis Evangelion for the first time, and I've gotta say, my favorite scene has to be at the beginning of episode 1 when Shinji monologues to himself, "Ever since my dad left me as a child, I just haven't been able to smile. I hate myself, and I'm afraid of other people because they might hurt me. I'm so depressed that I set my K-On! AMV to paint it black." The other K-On! Fans weren't too happy about it.
Well, let me tell you something. When me and your mother were just in junior high, we went on our first date. But later as we grew, I was also somehow two different people. Your mother was a powerful Mew, as we have told you. Your mother is a Mew Ichigo. Well, I was the one.
Oh my god, I don't fucking care.
What? What did you just say?
Because
No, really, please speak up. I cannot understand a single thing you just said. In just about every fanime I've seen, there's always at least one part where the commentary is so poorly mixed that whatever the character is saying is literally impossible to understand. It should be obvious why this is bad, but seriously, I want to know what these characters are saying. And sure enough, in nekogirls,
See if you were doing A-OK. Yeah.
all of a sudden, nekogirls has context. The shitty visuals, obviously, but even a lot of the more subtle things. Take the random animation mistakes, like in episode 6, when part of Raku's walk cycle consists of literally copy and pasting part of a previous image with the rectangular select tool and reversing it. This also reverses part of the background though, because the joke is that it's incompetent. Not only is there a similar walk cycle from episode 2 of Tokyo Crystal Mew, where it looks as if a character's legs are reversing back and forth, but glitches with the rectangular select tool also pop up in real fanime. The voice acting with the constant mic peaks.
A girl left. Does a teacher get crushed?
Or what about the random bits of text used to transition between some scenes? Would you believe me if I said Tokyo Crystal Mew did it first? What about the horrible sign on the kawaii underwear-chan store? Looks like a Twinkle Girls reference to me. And now it's time for a game of Spot the Difference. The poor lip flaps, the occasional awkward spaces between lines of dialogue, staying on the same image for extremely long amounts of time. It's all there. But, okay. How do we know that nekogirls is a parody of fanime specifically? I mean, it's pretty self-evident, but let's get even more convenient. What if, say, there were old fanime episodes on Yoli's favorites list back when that was a thing on YouTube? Alright, I've now explained what fanime is, and I've proven that nekogirls is a parody of it. So I'm free to move on to the next section, right? God damn it. I could blame whatever cruel deity has forced my body to be poorly pen-tooled here, but in reality, this one's my fault. When a rabbit hole presents itself, it's hard to look away. I've now spent countless hours of my life watching teenage girls trace Sailor Moon. I've now seen TCM put MS Paint scribbles over perfectly fine Tokyo Mew Mew footage. You don't just watch fanime and come out the same person. I'm now subbed to Fanime Reviews, a channel that hasn't uploaded in over a decade. You don't understand. I can't shoulder this burden alone. So, let's talk about the 2 fanime on Yoli's favorites playlist in further depth, just so you can get a taste of what I've been through these past few months, alright? However tempting it is considering my channel name, we're not talking about Large Bagel. Look, Blood Raining Night can get its own video someday, no promises. Just Tokyo Crystal Mew and Twinkle Girls. Let's start with the latter, because trust me, you'll understand what watching this thing is like in about 10 seconds.
There is a new transfer student from Alaska. Please treat her nicely. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Mochi. Pleased to meet you.
Twinkle Girls was created by Dagian Drupe, formerly Heikatsu Kyokai, on May 16th, 2009, and more resembles cosmic horrors beyond comprehension than a cute high school anime. Far from being just low quality, the voice acting is stilted beyond repair. I hesitate to even use the term voice acting, because there is no acting. It's more like the shy kid was called on to read in class. A lot of the lines also have this weird echo to them.
Well, I have to study them too. So how about we both study them in the library?
They sound like my demons. I'm fairly certain this is a product of removing a copyrighted song from a video after uploading, but I could be wrong on that. Me when I eat the gummy bear, but it turns out to be an edible. And don't even get me started on the cat fairy.
To save the world, I had to generate the power of the sun,
The plot is a bunch of nonsense. The sun is going out, but this random cat fairy made a generator to power the sun. Except they need to collect 3 batteries to power it or else the world will end. To do this, they get magical girl powers, and 2 of the characters don't even have finished transformation sequences. They figure out that one of the batteries is in a book in the school library, with whatever method of calculation this is.
Since 1 plus 8 equals 9, and we're exactly 20 degrees north, and the temperature is high, the source of the blackout is A battery's here.
So of course, Daifuku takes the natural course of action and commits a book burning in their school library! I'ma be real with you. The first time I saw this, I was convinced it was a parody just like nekogirls. And can you really blame me? I saw the translation note for the library, the still voice acting, the nonsensical plot, and just went, yep, parody. But I'm actually convinced of the opposite now. First of all, the creator, dagian drupe, was very young when they made this. Though I don't know their exact age, their previous fanime, Sakura Ai, is... yeah.
Hey Minami, the party just started.
Sakura Ai was apparently a project made with a friend, and while Dagian self-admittedly doesn't voice act in any of their videos, the age of the voice actors is probably telling as to how old they were when making it. An archive of their channel from September 17th, 2009 states that they were 15 or 14 at the time. But considering that every other part of their bio is a lie, with some sections even admitting such, I'm inclined to believe they were even younger. Mind you, episode 1 of Sakura Ai only predates that of Twinkle Girls by roughly half a year, and considering that time frame, Twinkle Girls is a legitimately impressive step up in art quality. But with the knowledge that Dagian was most likely extremely young when they made this, the notion that this is an unironic attempt at making a fanime becomes plausible. Secondly, Dagian just acts sincere about it. You can see them in the comments defending their work back in the day. You can see how they've updated the description of Sakura Ai episode 3 to wryly ask why people are still watching this. For intellectual curiosity, Dagian. And the lulz. And thirdly, every project Dagian has made since has not only been obviously sincere, but has also shown continual improvement on their end. In retrospect, Twinkle Girl's nonsensical plot is probably just a child's attempt at crafting a show with deliberately loosey-goosey logic and a tongue-in-cheek attitude, something that would become fully realized, then subverted in Welcome to the Panties Warfront. The comically bad voice acting in Twinkle Girls probably comes from poor direction on Dagian's end, and a general lack of experience on the VA's end. Once again, something that would be rectified in later projects. Twinkle Girls is legitimately a pretty fun watch, especially since its total runtime is barely over 10 minutes, which means the awkward chaos of the show has just enough time to leave a mentally scarring impression on you without overstaying its welcome. Dagian still creates and uploads fanime to this day, and in case it wasn't obvious, they've gotten much better at drawing. There's even some legitimately solid shot composition and color design in Dagian's newer work. And yes, even the voice acting has improved. By the way, Dagian, if you're somehow watching this, Pups legitimately inspired one of the characters in my novel. This is not a bit, I'm being for real. I just want you to know that it's your fault Mina Willoughby turned out this way. Next up, we have Tokyo Crystal Mew. Does Anata enjoy video? Then make sure Anata hit subscribe button. Also, Watashi has the Patreon, and you can give me yen for rewards. You can get name right at end of video, get exclusive content, and even get main channel vids early. It helps Watashi waste Watashi's life on researching pointless bullshit that does nothing to progress society, and in fact, arguably holds us back. Ugu! Oh, so please give me yen. It strats at just 3 yen agatsu, and by that I mean 427 yen agatsu because the conversion go crazy. And now, back to video. Oh my god, I hate being stuck in this fanime! Okay, so, as I was saying, Tokyo Crystal Mew was created by Kisaka Toriyama, formerly known as Mojo Crystal Tokyo, and was released from 2006 to 2012. Similar to Twinkle Girls, it begins as children's crayon scribbles. But unlike Twinkle Girls, this one isn't an original idea, despite what Kisaka might say in the credits. As you might have already guessed, Tokyo Crystal Mew is a fan-made spin-off of the anime Tokyo Mew Mew, a magical girls series featuring girls infused with the DNA of animals who work together to save the world from aliens. Now, I'll be the first one to admit, I have not seen Tokyo Mew Mew. A more resilient YouTuber than I might subject themselves to it in order to better understand TCM. However, much of TCM hinges on having context you really should glean from the show proper, so as you might be able to imagine, my initial viewing of it was rather confounding. This is made even worse by the fact that children. Take this scene, for example.
I myself am, well, Ryu's cousin, and I am here to take over, well, make a new cafe, and, well, I've discovered some horrible, horrible news that...
The first time I saw this scene, I did not comprehend a single thing that this girl said. Partially from lacking context, but also because it's just such a boring way to exposit this information. My brain completely hazed over. You often have to imagine what the scene was supposed to look like if it were drawn properly in order to understand the moment-to-moment action. But I eventually did get it. Tokyo Crystal Mew is a fan-made continuation of Tokyo Mew Mew following the children of the original Mews. This is shown in the OP, where the original's characters are juxtaposed against their children.
Let me tell you about a story about 7 girls. Magical powers.
Something tells me this wasn't supposed to be funny. The main characters are Toya Oyama and Mina Shirogane, daughters of Ichigo Momomiya and Mint Aizawa from Tokyo Mew Mew. The aliens are back, and because they have the right DNA, they're enlisted to help save Earth once more. The series takes place over X episodes, X being a variable because the Tokyo Crystal Mew watch order debate goes surprisingly hard. There are 4 episodes in total, except that the latter 2 are split across 2 uploads because YouTube used to only let you post up to 10 minutes. However, episodes 1 and 2 each have remakes, also split across 2 parts each. But also, the remakes of the episodes change the story. For example, in the original episode 2, Toya and Mina each told their parents that they were Mews, but in the remakes, they each decide not to, before Mina's dad finds out anyway. The first few episodes of this are something, alright? Did she just download Ichigo's transformation sequence and scribble all over it? This isn't even tracing anymore, it's like New Trace Plus! The first couple episodes are also filled with a bunch of stock text transitions. In one scene in the first episode, Toya and her father are talking inside, and then we're shown a transition slide, this time hand-drawn, saying, "in the backyard." And then Kisaka reuses the same shots from inside the house that clearly show the characters not in the backyard. I can't!
Thank you. My name is Chi. I was named after my great-grandmother.
Is that motherfucking Asuka Langley in a fursuit?
Kiss my foot, peasant.
Well, she's certainly on brand. That's one way to put an ad in the eye catch. But what's interesting about Tokyo Crystal Mew is that, like I said, the show was released across 6 years, and a lot can change in 6 years. Even as early as episode 3, both the art and writing were subtly improving. Now's probably as good a time as any to note that Tokyo Crystal Mew wasn't a one-woman show. Not just the voice acting, but the animation, writing, and eventually storyboards would receive help from other people. Comparing episode 1's remake to the original shows that even though Kisaka was still in the MS Paint scribbles phase, she was definitely improving. but the most obvious leap in quality would come around episode 4 and the remake of episode 2. These 4 videos were originally released in 2011 and 2012, and feature legitimately high-quality artwork. However, they're also a fraction of what they could have been. See, these episodes were never finished. While episode 4 begins with some legitimately good and finished-looking scenes, it quickly goes the way of Ava's finale. Backgrounds become production notes saying that she'll get to it later. Colored scenes drift to outlines, and eventually, storyboards. Most likely, these 2 episodes were envisioned as part of some grand reboot for the series, considering they came after a multiple-year hiatus and a lot of artistic improvement. But at some point, the project lost steam, and they were uploaded incomplete as an attempt at getting, well, something out of their effort. There's something strangely melancholic to me about watching the unfinished storyboard of something meant to be much greater. The empty backgrounds and production notes offering a surreal look through a sketchy peephole of many people's passion. But perhaps that's just my Ava flashbacks talking. But while that may be the end of Tokyo Crystal Mew, 'tis not the end of Kisaka Toriyama. Kisaka would embark on many other endeavors, the most popular of which was re-uploading Blackpink house clips on YouTube. The second most popular is...
When I was 7, my mother found a dumped kitten near our house. We nurtured and cared for her, and nursed her back to full health. After some time, we decided to name her Ribbon. To this day she lives with my mom. This is why I will be donating $10,000 to a charity that helps find forever homes for cats. I will also be donating all super chats this stream to the charity to help these super cats find homes. Also, I'm gonna fucking shoot up a Walmart.
She became a VTuber, and a damn popular one at that. Though she's now graduated, and though I will never watch VTubers because gooning is dangerous, it's nonetheless a testament to legitimate charisma on her end that she was able to amass 20,000 followers on Twitch. That doesn't come easy. I would know, I'm so obscure on this website, I had to get a real job. Kisaka still draws to this day, and the glow-up is unreal. Now draw BAGEL-CHAN getting an education. Even more stunningly, she still makes fanime from time to time, like Hell of a Boss. And guys, you're not gonna believe this, but Ven Galaxis is legitimately pretty good.
Mark!
What?
Someone tipped me $20 today!
Good for you?
But guess what else?
What?
I got fired!
What? How?
Because I couldn't stop crying after they gave me the $20.
I give it a strong 6 to light 7 out of 10, which may seem low until you remember that by my estimate that's better than 90% of real anime. But what's even crazier is that Tokyo Crystal Mew has an ending now. On April 9th, 2020, Kisaka released a video on one of her way too many channels entitled Time Travel in Tokyo Crystal Mew? The entire plot of Tokyo Crystal Mew. As the title suggests, this, paired with another video released soon after, are a complete rundown of not just everything that happened in TCM, but everything that would have occurred had it been finished. And dare I say, it goes kind of insano style? As the plot progresses, it less resembles the relatively happy-go-lucky series we all know and love, and more resembles End of Mew Mew Galleon. If you think the part where the 10-year-old has a panic attack in an alleyway before getting possessed by an alien who tries to destroy everyone she knows and loves is bad, just wait till you get to the part where 2 lesbians survive together in the apocalypse before going back in time to prevent said apocalypse, except that one of them isn't actually a lesbian and has a child with a man, while the other lesbian who was in love with her looks on in horror. This sales pitch goes crazy. And that's the thing. I've poked a lot of fun at these old shows today, but I hope it never came across as mean-spirited, because that definitely isn't the intention. The reality is that for people who get into art at a young age, this is just a stage you have to be in. And I don't just mean drawing, but novels, YouTube videos, etc. I mean, I remember being 8 years old recording Minecraft videos on my mom's iPod Nano, and they were probably still better than Clubstep 2019's garbage. However silly and obviously amateur Twinkle Girls and TCM are, They feel like looking into a mirror, really. Most classic fanime is made by children, and that's its greatest weakness, but also its greatest strength. The appeal of classic fanime isn't to get a good story, because,
That's not it.
the appeal is to remember what it was like to be a clueless, creative child. The way I see it, classic fanime is an artist's genre. For artists, by artists. It's not winning any awards except in Cringe Factor, but it might bring back a sunny memory or two. So with all that being said, is early 2000s fanime worth watching? Probably not. It may be creatively pure, but it's also pure shit. Speaking of old YouTube animations, remember Sauken? Of course you do, you have a good memory. Well, let's, talk about that. Alright, we're done with the section on fanime. So I can go back to my real body now, right? Are you kidding me?! What even is a sauken? Or is it Wolf Lover 007? The description of Yoli's first sauken video says, "This is for Wolf Lover 007, who is cool." Does sauken go by multiple usernames? Is Wolf Lover 007 another sauken fan? Right now, there's just too little to go off of. So like, how do we find Sauken's channel? I highly doubt his videos are still online, so maybe we'll have to crawl through the web crawls. Or hell, is Sauken even a YouTuber? Maybe he's a DeviantArt user, or something else entirely. I just don't know where to check first. Wait. I'm going to kill myself. Wolf Lover was clearly happy about Yoli's fan work, and Yoli about being noticed. These conversations also lend credibility to the idea that Yoli's natural state is to never use proper grammar, with her even acknowledging it in one of her replies. Incidentally, if you type sauken into the YouTube search bar, one of Wolf Lover's videos is among the first results. It'll also get you this video called Sauken the Snow Wolf by Jupi Meow. Here's what that video looks like.
Sauken the Snow Wolf was a very jolly guy.
What the fuck? But here's where things get interesting. On the video, Sauken's biggest fan, Wolf Lover says, and I quote, "I'm going to draw a picture of you with Sauken." At that moment, the goal became clear. Find that picture. Think about it. Wolf Lover or Sauken or whoever is the only person we know of that Yoli interacted with online without playing a character. If Yoli and Wolf Lover had any interactions beyond this point, like, say, Yoli commenting on the picture that Wolf Lover said they'd draw, or perhaps something even more than that, it'd give us some insight into what Yoli is like when she's not playing a character. And even if their interactions were too brief to glean anything, it'd just be an interesting piece of nekogirls history. With that, I clicked on Wolf Lover's channel and began my search. So if this is Wolf Lover, who is Sauken? Well, he's not a person. He's a wolf character created by Wolf Lover. Also, I've been pronouncing it Sauken throughout this video, but it's actually pronounced Sayuken, apparently. Thanks. I hate it. Here's her about me. Sup. I'm Kaden, 15, female, furry, girl gamer, self-taught, and is a bit on the crazy side. God, that sentence teleported me right back to high school. Wolf Lover is an animation channel focused on meme videos, AMVs, speed paints, and whatever else she feels like uploading. And yeah, they're pretty rough. The first video publicly available on her channel is called Sauken Wishes You a Merry Christmas 2007 and was posted on December 3rd. Come on, guess the year. 2008. Nah, I'm f***ing with ya. When she was just 12 years old. This video is strangely adorable. It feels markedly naive in a way that makes me smile uncontrollably. Okay, now the ending. And to make it even worse, we're going to play a really rockish song. Not Christmas, yeah! This is what hopes and dreams are made of. Yet despite how obviously childish and amateur the videos are, they're legitimately impressive considering her age at the time. The channel continues in this vein for some time, with plenty of unregistered Hypercam 2 to go around. It's actually a really fascinating look into old meme culture, with parodies of popular memes like Capirina, Triple Baka, Pfaffendorf, and Caramel Dancin', to name a few. Speaking of Capirina, this is the first video where it becomes apparent that this channel isn't isolated. These wolves flashing by are mostly characters created by other people. This was a community. It just so happens that Wolf Lover was a large channel within it for old YouTube standards. As time went on, Wolf Lover would grow even better at drawing, though the videos still retained an immature vibe to them.
F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all.
Down here in the deep blue sea.
Inspired by my hatred, thanks to everyone who made my life a living hell. Sarcastic heart! And then there's the bona fide hood classic, the Sauken song.
And though I am swift, I hate the fangirls, because they always want to.
What the fuck? But it was around this part where I was combing through the last few videos on her channel that I began to ask myself a question. One that I probably should have left unasked. What is any of this? Like, what compels an entire community of people online to take on wolf personas and make meme videos about them? Furries, am I right? Okay, but what compels furries to do this then? Furries, am I right? Okay, but furries, am I right? Look, with me being how I am, I did in fact get sidetracked for multiple days researching the psychology of furries and the community at large. I even went where no neurotypical person has dared venture before. A Patricia Taxon video. But I quickly realized that Pandora's box wasn't meant to be opened, nor full of yiff. Look, it's another topic for another day, and probably another person entirely. I still find some of the stuff I've seen from this specific wolf-centric community bizarre, particularly when I stumbled onto the remnants of a text-based furry roleplay where two people literally pretended to be wolves in a wolf pack. Distressed and probably losing my mind at this point, I brought it up to my ex-furry friend, because yes, I have one of those. He described it as, and I quote, bad low-tier roleplay, which to me indicates the existence of competitive furry roleplay. But hey, so long as you're not hurting anyone, or yourself, I'll support your right to be a weirdo, so long as you support mine in turn. Hey, remember when this video was about Nyan Neko Sugargirls? Well, this is gonna be awkward. That picture of Sauken and Yoli Sona together? Yeah, it doesn't exist. Or at the very least, if it ever existed to begin with, it's either lost to time or buried deep on an old computer of Wolf Lovers. The former is very likely. Old archives of Wolf Lovers' channel show videos that are no longer viewable, and checking her social blade, you can even see that she lost over 20,000 views between January 22nd and 28th of this year, indicating that a pretty popular video went offline. It's either Wolf Lover pulling these videos, or more likely, copyright. Yeah, a lot of these videos contain copyrighted music, so it's really only a matter of time before they all come a-tumbling offline. However, the latter option, it's buried on one of Wolf Lover's computers. Well, it's pretty unlikely. On November 30th, 2010, Wolf Lover uploaded for the first time in over 8 months. The description reads as follows. Hey! I've missed you guys! So I've been gone because my old computer got flooded with water and broke. Terribly. I tried to save the files, lost all except the ones I luckily sent to Kyokai, which she sent back to me. So I thank her. So, that's that. We've exhausted all the obvious leads, and this latest one turned out to be empty. But what more is there to uncover? Is this the end? And it was around the point I was asking myself that I found this screenshot. Yoli's subscriptions are currently not viewable on her channel. I'm pretty sure a stray YouTube update knocked them out, but this image and multiple other archives have kept her subscriptions page in the annals of history. And let's just say, this is the strangest rabbit hole yet. This screenshot was only the beginning. For much of my research, I was under the impression that the first archive of Yoli's channel was from 2019. See, YouTube has changed the system it uses for channel URLs multiple times in the past. Currently, YouTube lists channels with @handles. So for example, my channel link is youtube.com/@Crunchybagels. But before that, it would have been listed as youtube.com/channel/this incomprehensible string of characters. The initial archive of Yoli's channel I checked was using this system, from which I at least haven't found a way to access her subscriptions. But there is another. By typing youtube.com/user/soapopera46 into the Wayback Machine, you can find Yoli's channel preserved as far back as August 2nd, 2010, before episode 6 of Nekogirls was released. And on that archive, we get to see not only Yoli's subscriptions, but her friends list. Because yes, YouTube used to have that. Well, some of them anyway. The full list hasn't been archived, and furthermore, multiple old captures of Yoli's channel just lead to unbeatable captchas, making them, as far as I know, completely inaccessible. But this is still a fascinating lead. Lead to what, you might ask? I don't know. But that's what we're here to find out, aren't we? Or at least, that's what I would say, except Yoli's YouTube page used confusion and it was super effective! Remember how Yoli's About Me specifies that she's 21 years old because her brother used his birthday for the YouTube account? So you'd expect her page to at some point list her age wrong, prompting Yoli to add that to her bio. Well, after checking a web crawl from August 2nd, 2010, January 4th, 2012, and March 7th, 2012 respectively, the age on her page was correct in each one! At least if we're assuming the birthday on her DeviantArt is accurate, which, come to think of it, is a pretty big assumption. In the first archive, she was 20. For the latter two, she was 22. Now, this is where it gets downright perplexing. The first archive, 16 days before she turns 21, doesn't have the blurb about her being 21, of course. However, on the archives when she's 22, it has the added line. So, she almost certainly wrote her age in her bio accurate to her DeviantArt. But why would she need to specify it if the age on her page is accurate? There's 3 possibilities. 1, Yoli is a big fat liar. This discrepancy could be taken to mean that Yoli's brother outright doesn't exist, but I find this unlikely. No, what I think happened is that some kind of YouTube UI update caused the age on her page to become inaccurate due to the whole brother's birthday thing, and the Internet Archive just doesn't have this specific version backed up. I've tried looking up what this update would be, but haven't been able to find it. Or option 3, I'm an idiot and just missed something obvious. If you're a betting man, I'd put my money on this one. Okay, back on topic. Who exactly did Yoli friend and or subscribe to? Wolf Lover 007, 13-year-old artist with the furry picture, Okami Sensei 717 with the Wolf PFP, I bet I couldn't miss ya, Wolfs 1000, Isle of Dogs 3, made that last guy up, but you believed me. Yeah, so a lot of her friends and subscriptions were from that old Wolf community, not much to add. Furthermore, a lot of their channels just don't exist anymore, though through archives we know that Mao Trustless was an old fanime tuber who made a show called Legend of the Eternity. As far as I'm aware, this is lost media. But this is where things get interesting. Let's look at Rainbow Neko-chan. Her first video was Nyan Neko Star Transformation, released on April 17th, 2010. The description reads as follows. Okay, so this is one of the my favoritist Karas from my series Rainbow Neko Fighters. Her name is Hoshi, and she is Nyan Neko Star. If she says her name, she can transform, attack, and stuff. Please enjoy, I worked really hard, so don't steal cause that would make you be a meanie and that would be unkawaii desu. Rainbow Neko-chan was attempting to make a fanime called Rainbow Neko Fighters. Emphasis on attempt, it never actually came out. The majority of her channel consists of extremely samey transformation sequences for the main characters, but nothing about this is much different from everything else we've seen so far. Until we get to her final video.
I'm here to talk about my anime, Rainbow Neko Fighters, and it's like really kawaii and really desu, and it's really original, and I try really hard to be original, and it's really original, and I'm really awesome. I mean, I'm like against like violence and death and mean people. I mean, it's just so horrible. It makes kittens cry at night, and that's not cool. You shouldn't make the Neko-chans cry.
The reason why Rainbow Neko-chan never released Rainbow Neko Fighters is because the entire thing is a joke. I mean, it's really desu. Desu literally means to be. You can't just...
And it's really desu and kawaii.
She just keeps doing it! She speaks like the characters in nekogirls, and while old weebs really did speak like this, the portrayal here is seemingly sarcastic. For example, Rainbow Neko-chan claims that her story is very unique, before describing the most generic plot possible.
Well, the main character, her name is Kokoro. This beautiful white Neko princess came up to her and told her that she needed to help save the world because these evil people were draining the colors. So they turned into Rainbow Neko Fighters, and they were saving the world from the evil black Neko-chan, who's being all unlucky and trying to steal the niceness from the world, which is really unforgivable. So they all transform and they fight together, and there's, betrayal, and there's all sorts of stuff, and it's really dramatic and intense and desu.
She just keeps doing it!
And I'm so glad I can create something like this. I mean, I'm just so proud of myself.
Is this the tone of voice someone would use if they were genuinely proud of themselves? No. This is the tone you use when you're being sarcastic and can't help but let it seep into your voice. So we understand Rainbow Neko-chan now. But what about Casey Pachirisu? Her first video was uploaded on December 11th, 2007, entitled, "Stop Being Mean to Riri-chan and Bella-chan!"
Kawaii! Hey guys, this is me, Casey Pachirisu. I just wanted to make a really super ultra kawaii video in response to Bella-chan and Riri-chan's videos. A lot of people have been uber kawaii mean to them.
So in case you haven't gotten the picture by now, a lot of Yoli's known subscriptions are to weeaboo troll channels. Well, they're probably trolls, specifically troll channels made by young girls who vomit onto an MS Paint canvas and insist it's kawaii. In fact, they'll call anything and everything either desu, kawaii, or both. They're obsessed with anime and Japanese culture. They do everything in their power to be cute. They're deliberately as stupid and annoying as possible. And some of them, at least, revel in the ire they receive. Because believe it or not, people got legitimately pissed at these trolls. I'm talking vehemently and mortally offended. In any era you live in, people will make fun of you for being bad at something. But it feels like in ye old YouTube comment sections, people used to be far more scathing, provoked by far less. Most of these channels have old archives available that also reveal YouTube's old UI. I must say, the majority of these channel pages look unbelievably ugly. I also wish YouTube still looked like this. It's Soul, damn it! Casey Pachirisu is by far the closest of these channels to being pure rage bait. Take, for example, her video Death Note is Offensive. In it, she says that Death Note offended her because Light Yagami's last name spells out I'm a gay in reverse, which is offensive to gay people, that Mello wearing a cross is offensive to people who aren't Christian, that she can't tell whether Mello is a boy or a girl and that he should pick a gender already, and that Matsuda, well, I'll just let the clip speak for itself.
Now, a lot of people find Matsuda really funny, but I don't, because, Death Note is making fun of mentally challenged people.
The video itself is more offensive than Death Note ever was. At the end, she proclaims 4Kids' superiority over Viz and says that they should have dubbed Death Note instead. It's legitimately stunning to me that anyone took this seriously, ever. Casey is fucking hilarious. She puts on this subtly snobbish voice while simultaneously saying the dumbest shit imaginable. It's infuriating, but it's also great. But you may be curious, who are Bella-chan and Riri-chan? This is Bella-chan and Riri-chan. Though Yoli was never subbed to Lol Hi Kiwi, I think it's worth covering just because Casey brings them up in 2 of her videos. Kiwi features 3 girls, Bella-chan, Riri-chan, and Margareta-chan, the third of which is apparently shy and so doesn't appear in many videos. Lol Hi Kiwi's first upload was on October 8th, 2007, entitled The Most Super Kawaiiest Lucky Star Fandom Ever! It's interesting! It was also a runaway success for the channel, currently sporting over 500,000 views. Kiwi is just as viciously sarcastic as Casey. For example, they too have a fanime that they attempted to make, concisely titled Kawaii Quest Rainbow Cotton Candy Girls Ready Go. That's like isekai title length. Their second video serves as a casting call for people to voice the characters. Here's how Bella describes the voice you're supposed to do for each of them.
This next character is the evil king's son, the super hot Sasuke-kun. He needs a manly, deep, but sensitive voice. Also, it'd be preferred if it was male or a really, really butch lesbian girl. This next character, Ryu-kun, is a shy, soft little boy. So we're gonna need a cute girl or a gay guy to do this one.
However, this fanime would get much further than Rainbow Neko Fighters, because it has an opening.
Into a flower of love, where you pierce me in the knee, the scab must come.
The fountain of love is deep, with insecurities, hate, and justice. Here's the hymen of my love with the feather of the dove.
Unfortunately, this potential troll fanime never got a proper episode. It's worth noting that Lol Hi Kiwi has many videos that are no longer online, as revealed by the Internet Archive. These girls were much more active than the current state of their channel lets on. Another channel Yoli was subbed to was XX Kawaii X Neko X-Chan Xbox gamertag ass username. The channel follows 2 sisters, Mimi-chan and Mia-chan. Of all the channels we've covered thus far, they have perhaps the most distinct art style of the bunch. Neko-chan's drawings aren't just amateur, they're deliberately as grotesquely proportioned as possible. Neko-chan's humor is less subtle-ish sarcasm and more they're intentionally annoying is what I'm trying to say. So annoying, in fact, that in their very first video, Mia describes being kicked off other websites.
We have been on other sites before, but some bakas kicked us off because they're all like jealous and stuff.
They at one point had a DeviantArt, but unfortunately, it's been taken down. However, with the power of the Internet Archive, we're able to see what it looked like back in the day. We're able to see what their band looked like back in the day. If you think this song loop is annoying, don't worry. It's not like it's a staple of their content or anything. What causes people to troll? I mean, isn't it obvious? It's fun to cause a wee bit of mischief, and for some people, it can even function as a way to feel intellectually superior to those around you, like you've gotten one over on those you've angered. You've tricked them, and got away with it. But at the end of the day, it's all an act. It doesn't matter if someone makes fun of it. They're just mocking a mask, something hollow and without emotion except for wry sarcasm. That's the entire point, isn't it? The point of putting up a straw man with 2 middle fingers raised is for it to be attacked in your stead. Right? Kawaii Sweetberry is the last of Yoli's subscriptions. Her first upload was on February 6th, 2010, entitled Kawaii Girls Magic Love Angel Sakura-chan Henshin.
Power of love, transform me. elemental most angel, Sakura-chan, at your service.
Aside from the scuffed audio, there's no indication in the video itself that this is supposed to be sarcastic. In fact, I'm being genuine here, I actually really like the character design of Sakura-chan's transformation. She's cute! That being said, the video's description reveals the channel's hand. Okay, so this is our kawaii Kara Sakura-chan from our anime Kawaii Girls Magic. She is so kawaii desu. I wish I was like her, nya. Okay, so this took months to do, so don't be unkawaii and mean and steal her or our character or out transformation or our story, because it's so kawaii desu, and that would make you unkawaii desu. Arigato gozaimasu! Kawaii Sweetberry is run by 3 girls, Nami-chan, Ryu-chan, and Moja-chan, each represented by 3 different sonas. For whatever reason, most videos on the channel where they speak have them doing so through weird pitch-shifted vocal filters, which has led many to speculate that the channel only has 1 real owner, with the other 2 girls being fake. But as far as I can tell, through videos where the 3 of them are speaking together and the few where they're speaking without the filter, they seemingly really are 3 separate people. Just like so many of these other channels, they too have their own attempt at making a fanime, this time called Kawaii Girls Magic, and yet again, we have a beautifully sung opening. But unlike the previous channels covered, these girls actually finished an episode of their fanime. Actually, they made 3 episodes of it, though the 3rd is incomplete. Wait, I recognize this. Hold on. Our main character Sakura complains that
nothing kawaii ever happens around here,
when suddenly she's struck in the head with a meteor, and Usagi comes out and says that she's a magical girl that has to save the Tsukihime, no relation to the visual novel. Then a girl gets tentacle. That escalated quickly. Future episodes are no more coherent, but if you still aren't convinced that Kawaii Sweetberry is a troll, this video ought to do the trick. Kawaii Sweetberry's tribute to other kawaii gals, and a special surprise song, was uploaded on July 23rd, 2011. And well, it's pretty blatant.
We wanted to spread the kawaii love from deep in our kokoros to all our kawaii best tomodachis. This goes out to Riri-chan, Beta-chan, and Margareta-chan of LOL Haikiwi, as well as Kitsune-chan and Kawaii Usagi-chan, a proud Japanese girl. And of course, Yoli-chan and Nyan Neko Sugargirls. They are all going to achieve their yumeis.
That seals the deal, right? They're trolls. Trolls who just shouted out 3 other troll channels. Except, this isn't the end of the story. Because whereas other troll channels have one extremely sarcastic persona that they hold up relentlessly, Kawaii Sweetberry is multifaceted. For one, the girls are extremely active in their comments section, typing up verbose paragraphs defending themselves from criticism. But while at a cursory glance these replies may seem sarcastic, what really hits you when you read enough of them is that there is no punchline. If you filter out the weeaboo speak, the actual contents of what they're saying are fairly normal. Even more interestingly, they improve. Ryu starts getting better at animation, and on October 12th, 2011, drops a trailer for a fanime that seems serious. It's cheesy, sure, but it feels different than a troll. The art has now gotten legitimately alright, and though that's mostly through heavy use of bases, what troll makes an active effort to improve their art? Moja begins relying on the line tool in her art, and while it doesn't look good, it's better. It's a legitimate improvement. Episode 3 of Kawaii Girls Magic was uploaded on May 17th, 2020 as a piece of lost media after a many years long hiatus from the channel. Though incomplete, what parts of the episode were finished showcase the best art the series has seen. It's still not good, but it's an improvement. Ryu uploaded a video called "To All Otakus and Anime Fans!" It starts off seemingly a joke.
Anime and manga is such a great gift from Japan to us. It is a beautiful art style, the animation is always smooth and great quality, and you know what? I can use the word kawaii all I want because guess what? It's a free country.
The video is lambasting a Tumblr page called Weeaboo Stories, which to my understanding is an account where people submit stories of their encounters with weeaboos, always very negative ones. The point is to make fun of Western anime fans, and I guess Kawaii Sweetberry has a bone to pick with them. But while this rant begins with a lot of the usual weeaboo trollisms, there's a part of it that goes on for stunningly long without any attempt at telling a joke.
I want you to look at the people cosplaying, right? You sometimes make costumes or buy them, and to get dressed in them and walk around a convention, that takes a lot of guts and skill. So you know what? Don't listen to these mean websites and these people that are haters, okay? You do whatever you want, because if you want to cosplay, you do that. You can be strong and have courage.
This is literally true. I agree. Cosplaying is brave, to a certain extent anyway. It does require skill to come up with and create a costume. All of a sudden, the joke of this video has become unclear. Like at a certain point, Ryu-chan the character and Ryu the person began to overlap. As a troll, you attract haters. You direct ire towards yourself. That's the point. The point is that you're a straw man flipping both birds and having them flipped back. And if you keep doing that, you soon amass an audience that comes for that and reacts accordingly. No matter what you do, it's met with dislikes and hatred. And, well, sometimes that gets to you. Remember that fanime Ryu-chan made? People read the plot description for it and accused her of copying Black Rock Shooter. This is an atrocious parody of Black Rock Shooter. Please try again. Non-creative art form, generally cliché plotline, and generally horrible production value. I don't like it one bit. Ryu tries to argue against this notion, but it doesn't seem to be working. Another brigade member replies to someone, you'd have to ask Ryu-chan. She's really shy about it, cause people keep saying really bad things about it. Okay, so I'm wondering if you even fucking watched Black Rock Shooter, Ryu says. The anime/movie both had a huge slice of life component. There were no real love interests. There wasn't fantasy and demons. Just because something has fighting and a dark theme doesn't mean it's Black Rock Shooter. Get a hold of yourself. I obviously have watched it, or else I wouldn't even know the name of it. That is why I called yours a parody. Parodies can involve random love interests, even if the show they are parodying off of doesn't have any. 13 people seem to agree with me. You could know the name without having watched it. Most people at least know it by name. And it's not a parody, nor does it have any relation to the Black Rock Shooter series. Also, the actual dictionary definition of a parody is an imitative work created to mock an original work. This is a serious concept I had, but you people have ruined it for me. I don't think you would know if originality hit you in the face. Lols, you just described your so-called trailer perfectly. Thank you for proving my point. And that is funny coming from someone who ripped off BRS. You lack a creative bone in your body. Oh, please. Do you even know what trolling means? Oh, I know what trolling means. I have trolls send me and my friends death threats on a daily basis, so don't you ask me if I know what trolling means. A troll is someone who purposely tries to aggravate people. I'm sorry if I don't seem nice, but I'm done with the nice girl act. We never made fun of people or tried to hurt people's feelings, but this is what everyone else seems to be doing. People are mean to you because the thing you make are so atrocious. Maybe if you learn to make a decent story and decent art, maybe people won't riff on you so much. For someone who says they're trying, it's plain to see there's no evidence of even the tiniest hint of improvement. Oh, I get it. Because I suck at drawing, people are going to call us slurs and send us death threats? I am trying, and there has been improvement. Look at our other videos. Since when in hell's name has it been appropriate to bully people because they're shitty artists? But hey, if that's the case, let me punch your ticket to the bully people that are trying to create art express, and you can hop right on board. Oh wait, you already fucking did! In case you couldn't tell from my little doodles throughout this video, I'm not artistically inclined. Instead, the written word is my domain. I love words. I love putting them together in interesting ways. I love crafting intricate symbolism for complex ideas. I love exploring those ideas with both subtlety and depth. I love storytelling. It's why I changed my channel so radically. I don't just want to review stories, I want to tell them. But my first novel embodied very few of those things. It was called The Kingdom of Nyria. I never finished it, but I labored over the story in my spare time for months, eventually culminating in a Google Doc 30,000 words long. It's not a good story. The prose sucks because I thought that writing amounted to stringing as many adjectives together before each noun as possible. The story is rife with tiring exposition, the morality is extremely black and white, both the plot and politics make no sense, and every time it threatened to have a good idea, I didn't realize it and continued to write my 14-year-old self's idea of a generic YA fantasy novel. This book is bad, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. The year was once 2012, but now it's 2024. In the meantime, the social media landscape has become eerie. To me anyway. The infinite scrolls only grow longer and more hypnotizing. The wall of videos on my YouTube homepage only grows more threatening. Each user page looks more and more alike as social media websites reduce customization in an effort to be clean and modern. With each corner rounded off, content has followed suit. Good art has given way to sleek art. Graphs have been maxed out, inconveniences stripped away, and even the slimmest possibility of boredom has been stamped out. With it, videos leave less and less room for introspection. It's not like there aren't good videos still around, but how it feels to be on YouTube has certainly changed in a difficult-to-describe way. YouTube videos now rhyme with the algorithm, an incomprehensible AI so vast in its omnipresence that, to creators, it often feels hostile. For every creator on this site, the algorithm has become an enemy that we must begrudgingly befriend to get famous. And that's how art turns into offerings. We do tricks to appease the beast. We level up our stats in an MMO we never signed up for. We tell people to hit that subscribe button, despite it literally being, like, the main thing you do on this site. We put captions on our shorts. We make shorts. I love art, but nowadays, it feels more and more like I hate YouTube. And yet, however unpolished, however boring, however annoying, however crass, however cringy, however nonsensical, what every video we've covered today has in common is that they have soul. Far from offerings to the beast, they're offerings to the self and to others. There's something indescribably human about bad art. On YouTube, good art, or really just sleek art, increasingly feels like a trick. It's filled with church bells and choir songs in the dearest hopes that some incomprehensible AI may bless them. But bad art, at least this brand of it, is pure, unvarnished. It's magical. I don't quite know how to put it. A lot of the art we've discussed today is boring, because it's bad art. Sometimes deliberately bad art. Yet no matter how much my attention span was stretched, the kinship I felt with these MS Paint abominations never left me. At the beginning of this video, I said that Nyan Neko Sugargirls never gets much better or worse than its 4th episode. But that's slightly inaccurate. Especially near the end of the series, it begins sporting some legitimately impressive cuts of animation that must have taken lots of time and passion to draw. Is Nyan Neko parody or sincerity? Why not both? I feel like I got a bit sidetracked there. What even is Nyan Neko Well, it was originally the brainchild of Yoli and one of her friends, a seemingly earnest anime-inspired project. However, Yoli's friend moved away, which complicated their collaboration. The project was shelved for a time, but it wouldn't stay that way for long. See, Yoli was both a weeaboo and a fan of amateur YouTube animations. Being both of these things, she was also privy to the more embarrassing and/or amateur aspects of each community. Furthermore, around that same time, she discovered troll anime YouTubers like Casey Pachirisu. These elements errantly crashed together in Yoli's mind to form an unholy idea. She recycled the characters from her old project and used them to create a bitingly sarcastic, parodical fanime, one that would capture the hearts and minds of millions across the globe. At least, that's probably how it happens. But that still doesn't elucidate this video's biggest unknown variable. Who even is Soap Opera 46? She's Yoli, or Yolanda. But aside from that, we know little. And quite frankly, if I had found out too much about her in the process of researching this video, I couldn't have released it in good conscience. So, thanks for being good about privacy, Yoli. But hold on, Crunchy. I saw a random tweet from someone who said they're Soap Opera 46. Anything to say about that, Crunchy? Funny you say that. I actually DM'd the person who made that tweet asking for clarification, and they never responded. Because they're not Yoli. Obviously, many people have claimed that they're Yoli, or voice actors from the show, or that they worked on it. But this has never been done verifiably, to my knowledge anyway. The reality is, we don't know what any of these guys are up to nowadays, and the furthest we can say as to who voiced the characters is that Yoli most likely voiced Raku, and a Spanish person voiced Koneko. That's it. Is anything in this video even real? Thanks for asking, and sorry about your schizophrenia. But in reality, yeah. With so much of this video revolving around unreliable narrators and blatant trolls, it feels like a whole lot of this script has been me making heads and tails out of 20-sided die based on mere hunches. Remember that super emotionally resonant ending to Chapter 5? Your Honor, that tearjerker might have been Ryu pulling your leg. I'm just saying, keep your asterisks in a row whenever you think back on this video. Speaking of, what even is the point of this video? Great question, me. Too bad you've asked it every damn day since I started this godforsaken thing. I wanted this to be a quick 30-minute video, me swears it. But for reasons aforementioned, the Wayback Machine is alluring, my dear friend. But if you'll have me a little longer, here's how our story ends. On September 17th, 2017, user Smelly Ham uploaded a video showcasing a DM they got from none other than Yoli herself on DeviantArt. Season 2 is a plan! Watashi work hard to make happen! Of course, DMs can be faked, but I'm willing to believe my boy Smelly Ham on this one, considering he made his own fan Season 2 for the show, meaning he's clearly a passionate member of the community. But obviously, what Yoli said never came to pass. I'm not sure how hot of a take this is, but I don't really want a nekogirls Season 2. Yeah, I said it. Nekogirls was such a product of its time that it's difficult to even imagine what a Season 2 would look like, not to mention that the series ended in a way that makes it almost impossible to continue without it feeling forced. I think Nekogirls said everything it needed to, and to add on to that in any official capacity would kinda ruin the magic. I think Yoli has realized this, or just didn't want to put herself through the massive amount of work it would take to get another season off the ground, hence why the channel has only uploaded cute little non-canon videos ever since its conclusion. I like it that way. It's enough to tide me over. But in the absence of official nekogirls content, the fan community has taken the baton and ran with it. It's a very underground community. As you might expect, the most popular content surrounding nekogirls tends to be the reaction videos, as well as the myriad opening reanimations, which I love. There's also a ton of fan art. This raku art from Napstaguy04 is adorable and was also my Discord profile picture for an entire month. But once you get really deep, you have to live with knowing that you read 2 chapters of an actual honest-to-God novel where Dulce-chan owns a gym and gets smooched by a gazillionaire. This is Dulce-chan New Moon, written by Haruno, because it's always Haruno. Her skin, well as dark as a blueberry, was... wait, blueberry?
I'm a motherfucking blueberry.
Was blackberry too on the nose? Dulce-chan's mansion, Dark Moon, is far from the only piece of fiction writ about nekogirls. The most popular of these fanfics by far is Nyan Nekosugargirls' Mayonaka. Mayonaka takes place after the events of Season 1. And boy is it something! Something that I only watched 4 episodes of. What you'll quickly notice if you decide to dive deep into these fanfics is that they are often written to be much more serious than anything the original series had to offer. At first glance, this may seem like missing the point, but that would be missing the forest for the trees. The reason these fan projects are so self-serious is because nekogirls was so irreverent. Fan art is an entirely different realm from the original series, one that barely has to contend with its existence. On a micro scale, this can mean drawing the characters, but good this time. On a macro scale, this can look like writing a hard-boiled action story that just happens to use the nekogirls cast of characters. Nekogirls fan work takes itself so seriously that they've categorized the various fan works into a coherent timeline that splits off into various alternate universes upon Raku's death. Ah, just what nekogirls needed. Watch order debates. Also, by they've categorized, what I really mean is Haruno did it, because it's always Haruno. But you want to know something that Haruno didn't do? This awesome looking website. Just kidding, it's always Haruno. At this moment, Crunchybagels knew what his destiny was. Minus world, baby! Ah! Let's go! Whoa. Oh my god, look. This is the best part. Yeah! Oh! Hey, I wonder who made this ROM hack. No I don't. It's Haruno. It's always Haruno! Not all of the fan work in the community will be up your alley. In fact, hardly any of it's up mine because I hate butterflies, puppies, and kittens. But here's a few projects that interest me in particular. Nekosu is adorable. It turns your boring, old, washed-up hack of a mouse cursor into a kawaii tomodachi, hey! My favorite has always been the original cursor tomodachi because it's the same mouse cursor that Raku has in the COVID video. But the other ones are cute too. And they're all announced with these heart-meltingly adorable videos tied together by a loose storyline. Haru no, I say Haru yes. This video took me 6.5 months to make. Sugargirl Raku-chan isn't actually out yet, but the timeline tells me it's a prequel to nekogirls. This time, it's actually not by Haruno. No, for real this time. It's from a channel called Shoujo Love 55. While the quality of the actual story has yet to be seen, there are a couple things about this project in particular that stand out to me. For one, it has a really unique marketing gimmick. The idea behind the Shoujo Love 55 channel is that its creator is searching for lost footage of an old fanime based on nekogirls, and uploading whatever they find to the channel. There's not much to the lore, but it's a neat idea, and it plays into the aesthetic of the show as well. It's depicted in a square aspect ratio, in low res, and the entire thing has this VHS quality to it. Oh yeah, have I mentioned that this show looks beautiful yet? Occasional jank animation be damned, the clear vision behind its overall aesthetic is so defined that anything amateur about it feels inconsequential. The color palette and shot composition give it this melancholic, almost surreal feeling, like you're watching these trailers through a half-remembered dream. Honestly, even if the plot was complete garbage, I'd probably just watch for the aesthetic. It works so well. Oh hey, Shoujo Love 55 also has a nekogirls fan site. I wonder what it looks like. It's Haruno! It's always Haruno! So if it wasn't clear already, Haruno / Nyan Neko Forever / Shoujo Love 55 / Lucas Kovacs / I don't know, there's probably another name for this guy I missed, is a massive figurehead in the community. He owns the Discord, he made the website, he owns Nyan Neko Forever, the only channel Yoli subbed to since nekogirls was still being released. Basically, this is the guy for all things nekogirls, including DVD copies of the series with box art and everything. Yeah, this guy's good. But perhaps my favorite fan work of them all is Koneko-chan's murder mystery. Would you like to take a guess who made it? Come on. Isn't it obvious? Well, it isn't obvious, cause it wasn't Haruno this time! Koneko-chan's Murder Mystery is a visual novel made by Fruity Pebbles, and oh my god, it's actually amazing. The novel makes the extremely clever decision to take place in an alternate universe from the original show. This is clever because Koneko-chan's Murder Mystery is dark. Like, deliberately, agonizingly dark. And making it an AU means that we don't have to contend with the idea that the silly, goofy fanime parody is technically canon to it. Because it isn't canon. Not completely, anyway. Raku's death has been completely reimagined. In the original, she got rabies in the goofiest way possible before spending more than half the series slowly struggling with it, only to die of a broken kokoro at the end anyway. In Koneko-chan's Murder Mystery, her death was swift, violent, and bloody. So violent that her body is never shown to the characters, nor the reader. We see her closed casket funeral, but the actual gore is left up to the imagination. Instead, we're left with the implication, and left to sit there in Koneko's perspective trying to deal with it all. It's legitimately effective storytelling. I haven't even mentioned the great art, or the honest-to-God glimmers of human drama, or how despite the typos, it's legitimately well written from both a story and prose perspective. Look, Koneko-chan's Murder Mystery ain't Shakespeare, but it might as well be the nekogirls community's version of it. Basically what I'm saying is, play it now. It's free, it's like 15 minutes long, and oh, would you look at the runtime of this video? You don't have an excuse. On the other hand, fanime. It's remained difficult, for me at least, to precisely sort through what is and isn't fanime. But in the broadest possible sense, animation on YouTube has become more successful than ever. Now there's entire studios like Glitch reaping hundreds of millions of views on the amazing digital circus and basically paying off LankyBox's mansion single-handedly. YouTube animation studios are now so big that they have controversies about how they treat their animators. Just like real cartoon! Making animated shows on YouTube is now a career option for a minority of people. That's crazy. Is Punch Punch Forever a fanime? Is Oto-chan a fanime? That's not for me to decide. But what I do know is that the core fanime community is extremely niche nowadays. The average animation quality of these shows has become better than ever due to increased access to animation tools and a general maturation of the YouTube landscape. Whether or not these shows are any good is as up to interpretation as it ever was, and some of them take themselves about as seriously as nekogirls did.
I'm gonna tell him he's the biggest baka ever!
But nonetheless, this community, however small, is passionate. On May 15th of this year, Haruno released his one-shot Goodbye Raku-chan. It's amazing. I love his beautiful, shoujo-like art style, and the montage of Koneko and Hitoshi imagining Raku in various scenarios in the afterlife is downright whimsical. I'd now like to read you verbatim the afterword he wrote. Thank you for reading. The original deadline for this was April, but I wasn't able to release it in time. However, I finally managed to finish it. The idea for this came about when I was sitting at my computer thinking of an idea of what to do for Nyan Neko-sugargirls' 14th anniversary. Usually I had something to show, but had nothing this year. So I decided to make a comic, which gave birth to the comic Goodbye Raku-chan. I started it late March in hopes to finish all 10 pages before April ended, yet university kept me busy doing other things like animation. While the goodbye is said to be for Raku-chan, in reality, it's meant for Yoli. If she never created Raku or Nyan Neko-sugargirls, this comic wouldn't exist. Since it's been some time since Yoli last posted a video, let alone confirm a sequel to the series, I think it's time for me to thank Yoli-chan for creating a series I love. If you ever read this, Yoli, thank you for everything.